Hello mathematicians, welcome back to Number Corner. For Number Corner today, we are going to be solving story problems around the world and looking at thirds. Here's what you need. You will need a whiteboard, marker, and eraser. If you don't have a whiteboard, a piece of paper and a pencil will work just fine. You can pause the video now to get what you need. Now remember, for the month of February, there is a story problem to go with each flag that we see on our calendar grid. We are going to work on the story problems from the last few days. I will read the story problem 2 times. Remember, the second time I read the problem, that's your turn to write an equation to represent the problem on your whiteboard. After that, we're going to solve the problem using our open number line. Let's look at our story problem from the 22nd. On the 22nd, we were in Iceland. Here's the first read. Just listen this time. 22 people went to Iceland and saw 220 minke whales in the North Atlantic Ocean. How many people and whales in all? Write your equation for the second read. Remember, use an empty box to show where our missing part is. 22 people went to Iceland and saw 220 minke whales in the North Atlantic Ocean. How many people and whales in all? Finish up your equation. Show a connection if your equation looked like this. There are 22 people who went to Iceland. They saw 220 minke whales. How many people and whales in all? Now take a moment to solve this equation using an open number line, and then we'll see if we did it in the same way to get the same answer. Let's draw our open number line if you haven't already. Draw your arrows at the ends. Now we are adding together 220 plus 22. So we will start with our bigger number to make our addition go a little more quickly. Now I know if I have 220, I can break up my tens and ones to see that I'll be adding 20 plus 2. Well, I know that 20 plus 20 is a double. So 220 plus 20 brings me to 240. Now you may have taken smaller jumps. That's okay too. Then I just have my 2 ones to add. Plus 2 is 242. Show a connection if you got the answer of 242. Now, you may have solved this problem in a different way. Let's have a look at our next story problem. Erase your boards. On the 23rd, we traveled to Japan. Listen on the first read. 23 people went to Japan and saw some people hiking on Mount Fuji. There were 253 people in all. How many people were hiking on Mount Fuji? As I read for the second time, think about your equation. Think about your missing part. Where does it belong in our problem? 23 people went to Japan and saw some people hiking on Mount Fuji. There were 253 people in all. How many people were hiking on Mount Fuji? Write your equation. All right, show a connection if your equation looked something like this. There were 23 people who went to Japan. They saw some people hiking on Mount Fuji. There were 253 people in all. We want to know how many people were on Mount Fuji. Our missing part is one of our two add-ins. Can you solve this problem using an open number line? Take a moment to solve it. Let's have a look at how we use the open number line to solve this problem. Let's draw our number line. And we are looking for the difference between 253 and 23. I'm going to start at 253. And then I'm going to jump backwards using 23. Well, if I break up 23, I have 2 10s for my 20 and 3 1s. Well, I know that 253 minus 3 equals 250. Now, I'm going to make it a little easier by breaking my 20 into my 2 10s for my next jumps. Now, I know 250 minus 10 is 240. I know minus another 10 is 230. Show a connection. If you got the same answer of 230 with your open number line. Good thinking. Now you could have solved this problem in a different way. Let's look at our last story problem for today. Erase your boards. On the 24th, we traveled to France. Some people went to France and saw 240 people climbing the stairs of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. There were 264 people in all. How many people went to France? Think about your equation for the second read. Some people went to France and saw 240 people climbing the stairs of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. There were 264 people in all. How many people went to France? Let's have a look at our equation. Now show a connection if your equation looks like mine. We have some people that went to France. They saw 240 people at the Eiffel Tower. Altogether, there were 264 people. What does this problem want us to do? If you're thinking, well, it wants us to find the difference between 240 and 264, well, that's good thinking. How can we do that with an open number line? Give it a try on your own, then we'll check together. Let's draw our open number line. Now we want to know the difference between 240 and 264. Well, 240 is my smaller number, so I will write it on this side of my open number line. And 264 is the bigger number, so I will write it on the right side. Let's make our jumps to 264. Now you may know that 240 plus 20 equals 260. You could also make your smaller jump of plus 10 to get to 250, and then another 10 to get to 260. We also know we need to jump 4 more to get to 264. So 24 plus 240 equals 264. Good thinking. Now before we go today, we're going to have a little practice with fractions. Show a connection if you've heard the word fractions before. When we talk about fractions, we're talking about equal parts. Have a look at the number in red. How do you read this number? If you were thinking 1/3, that's really good thinking. 1/3 refers to the parts of an object that result from dividing the object into 3 equal parts. We can see some examples of 1/3 when we look at our calendar markers. We're going to have a look at our markers and be thinking, are there any flags where the red takes up exactly 1/3 of the flag? Let's have a look and think for about 10 seconds. Do you see any flags where 1/3, exactly 1/3 of the flag is red? Now you may see a few different examples. Show a connection if you were thinking that 1/3 of the flag for Mexico is red. We can see we have our flag is in 3 parts. 1/3 is green, 1/3 is white, and 1/3 is red. Good thinking if you saw the 1/3 in the flag for Mexico. Do you see another one? Show a connection if you were thinking the same about our flag for Romania. Again, we see it's in 3 parts. 1/3 is blue, 1/3 is yellow, and 1/3 is red. Keep looking. Do you see any more? Now, you may have noticed that our flag for France today was also showing 1/3. It's in 3 equal parts. 1/3 is blue, 1/3 is white, and 1/3 is red. Do you see any others? Now, show a connection if you were thinking that this flag is also 1/3 red. Well, that's good thinking. Even though it's broken up in a different way, it's still broken up into 3 equal parts. 1/3 is red, 1/3 is white, and 1/3 is blue. You are going to have a little more practice with thirds in Seesaw today. Now you will work to color in 1/3 of each shape. This will give us practice to how we see thirds a little differently in different shapes. Take the pen tool and color in 1/3 of each shape you see. Now this shape down here looks a little bit like some of our flags. So we would take our pen tool and just color in 1/3 as neatly as we can. Get some practice with different shapes coloring in your thirds. Good work today, mathematicians. Turn this in to show your teacher, and I'll see you next time for Number Corner.